turmoil in Pakistan, both on the economic front as well as on the political stability front, because Imran Khan on every single day basis has been coming out and making allegations. There are protests, there's violence that we've seen, and the fallout of the May 9th violence is this piece of information that is just coming in of how the controversial Army Act is going to be in place once again against certain members of the PTI as well. Human rights breach in Pakistan is something that has come up once again. UN Human Rights Commissioner, in fact, has condemned this Army Act in Pakistan. The UNHRC chief has gone on to say that Pakistan's plan to revive the use of military courts to try civilians is disturbing. Pakistani courts are helpless. There's no human rights that is applying to anybody in Pakistan. This is, in fact, over the May 9th violence that we saw, where alleged PTI workers went on a rampage. There were military installations that came under attack as well. In that particular case, the army has decided that the Army Act will be invoked and that these arrested leaders of the PTI and the supporters of PTI will be tried under the Army Act in military courts. That has now raised major hackles on a global forum. Major Yasir Janjua, security analyst, joining us on this broadcast, getting us more details of what exactly is happening and how to put this in perspective. Now, we all knew, and it's no secret, that things spiral out of control in Pakistan ever so often. But what we've seen in the last few days, the kind of violence that we saw on military establishments on the 9th of May, the action that has followed, and the alleged pressure that's being put on PTI leaders because of which they are quitting, says Imran Khan.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me on this topic. First and foremost, let me clarify this to you and educate this to you, if you don't mind. That if anything happens, for example, the incident of the 26 November 2007, when the terrorists attacked the Taj Mahal in India. So the Indian laws were applicable, right?
Sure.
Pakistani laws did not. In case of attack on GHQ or any military installation, this is the standard practice. I mean, if you pick up the Indian Army Act also, you will come across the same things. I have not read it, but I am sure, because both India and Pakistan inherited their laws from the British Army. So within the premises, within the bounds of the military establishments, it's the military law that prevails. And you keep in mind that an attack or vandalism was carried out inside military installations or military boundaries. So they have to deal with it according to the Army Act. There is no politics about it.
Sure.
So if Human Rights Commission of Pakistan is saying that this is illegal, well, this is exactly as per the law.
Sure, you're well within your rights to do as per your laws. But before you educate me, sir, like you said, that you don't know about our laws, so let's not get into that. And it's also not India that's raising questions of why these people are going to be tried in the military court. It's the United Nations, the very United Nations that you knock on the doors of, claiming alleged ill treatment of people in Kashmir. But that same organization, when it talks about the kind of treatment you mete out to your citizens, then that's something that you would not want to pay heed to, is it?
No. There are two different things. For example, if you're saying that the Human Rights Commission is agitating, so, well, you should know that 5,500 people have been picked up after the 9th May incident. So that's a large number. And out of those 5,500, only 33 people are being tried under the Army Act. So it's not everybody who's going to be tried under the Army Act. So there is a confusion or misconception or media hype that is being created. The Army Act is only being applicable to those people who are actually involved. About 5,500 people who are, and by the way, it's today the government has actually given the statistics. 80% of those 5,500 people are actually now out on bail.
Sure.
So they yes, there are cases against them, but they're out on bail. So only 33 people out of those 5,500 are being tried under the Army Act. And even if tried under the Army Act, if they are proven innocent, they will walk out free. What's the problem?
Sure.
There's a proper procedure. Army Act is not a draconian law, as you might think or you might have been saying. It's a law that there is recourse to appeals and everything is available. So if somebody will feel that he's been wronged, they can go and appeal
Sure.
So there's no problem with that.
Sure, so everything is above board,
why do we
says
jump the conclusion and
sure.
say things?
Sure, nobody's jumping to conclusions, sir. Like I said, it's not me or even India saying that. It's the United Nations that came up with this comment that I just brought to you.
So that's my answer
but anyway,
to United Nations.
But sure, but
that's
anyway.
My answer to United
Major Janjua,
Nations.
thank you so much
United
for joining
Nations,
us. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. Major Janjua, thank you so much for joining us here with your perspective on that.